For nearly 4 centuries, this image has defined the history of the Taj Mahal. It is recognized globally as a 17th-century Mughal mausoleum, commissioned by Emperor Shah Jahan to house the tomb of his wife, Mumtaz Mahal. But the famous white marble platform sits atop a much larger foundation. Below the primary tourist levels, the architecture shifts as the monument meets the banks of the Yamuna River. Located in this lower section are 22 locked, unplastered rooms. These chambers are part of the original structure, yet they have remained sealed and inaccessible to the public for decades. These sealed archways have become the focal point of a modern legal dispute. Proponents of a revisionist narrative point to these hidden spaces as evidence that the monument's documented history is incomplete. The controversy centers on a theory popularized by writer P.N. Oak in 1989. He claimed the Taj Mahal was not built by the Mughals, though was originally a pre-Islamic Shiva temple known as Tejo Mahalaya. This theory suggests that the 22 basement rooms were never meant for storage or cooling. Instead, revisionists claim the Mughals used these rooms to hide ancient Hindu idols and pre-Islamic architectural features. This claim eventually moved from fringe literature into the Indian court system. Repeated petitions in the Allahabad High Court have sought to force the rooms open for a formal, independent archaeological survey. Standing between these petitioners and the monument is the Archaeological Survey of India, or the ASI. This is the government body tasked with maintaining the site's integrity and defending its historical record. Evaluating this dispute requires an investigation into the 3 areas of evidence cited in these legal challenges. First, the scientific dating, the historical imperial records, and the internal basement architecture. The primary scientific argument for a pre-Islamic Taj Mahal rests on a sample taken in 1974. Architect Martin Mills took a piece of wood from one of the riverside doors and sent it to an American laboratory for carbon-14 dating. The test results indicated the wood originated in the 1300s. To revisionists, this suggested that parts of the monument were constructed 300 years before Shah Jahan was born. However, carbon dating measures when a tree died, not when resulting timber was used in construction. This timeline shows how timber harvested in 1 century can be stored, traded, or repurposed as a door hundreds of years later. We see similar patterns in stone architecture. While revisionists point to pointed arches as evidence of an older temple style, these features were already a standard part of Indian architecture in the 13th and 14th centuries, long before the Mughal arrival. The presence of 14th-century wood in a 17th-century building indicates the use of aged materials rather than the secret origins of the structure. Revisionists also rely on textual evidence, specifically a passage from the Badshahnama, the official court chronicle of Shah Jahan's reign. They highlight a line describing the acquisition of a manzil, or mansion, from Raja Jai Singh. They argue this proves Shah Jahan simply took over an existing grand palace and modified it. But the full text of the Badshahnama provides more context. These records show that the manzil was a residential haveli, and that in exchange for the site, the emperor gave Jai Singh 4 other properties from the crown estate. The records then describe a massive construction project. The original mansion was demolished, and engineers excavated the ground 44 feet down to the water table to create a stable foundation for the new mausoleum. These administrative documents describe a ground-up construction process, leaving no evidence that an earlier temple was integrated into the building. This leaves the physical mystery of the basement. If there is no temple hidden behind those 22 doors, we have to look at their actual architectural function. These rooms are a standard feature in Mughal architecture, known as a takhana. These were underground galleries designed to remain cool during the summer, serving as retreats for the emperor and his family when visiting the riverfront. Despite claims that these rooms are permanently sealed, the ASI opened them for conservation work between December 2021 and March 2022. The ASI's newsletter documented the work. The rooms were found completely empty, vaulted brick corridors. Workers repaired the lime plaster, with no signs of idols or older religious structures. The evidence shows that these locked rooms are a functional part of the building's foundation, undergoing routine maintenance required to preserve the structure. The Tejo Mahalaya theory is part of a broader pattern of historical revisionism. P.N. Oak made similar claims about other world landmarks. suggesting that both the Vatican and the Kaaba were originally Hindu sites. Even with physical evidence from the ASI and detailed imperial records, these petitions continue to appear in court. The persistence of the theory is driven more by modern cultural identity than by new archaeological discoveries. The documented history of the Taj Mahal shows it as a masterwork of syncretic design. Its engineering and bilateral symmetry are recorded in detail by the chroniclers of the 17th century. It is worth considering why society often looks past documented history in search of a hidden conspiracy. The architecture and history of the Taj Mahal are visible in the structure itself. Its historical value is recorded in the light of the 17th century, and those facts remain unchanged by the theories surrounding the rooms in its basement.